Nick Ashew here with the DMV.
The DMVSTREAM.COM player.
Sean Parker along with Nick Allison.
I always wanted to play volleyball in college.
Cordova trying to pick it out of the board. And they score! And welcome to the Prep Zone at DMVSTREAM.com, everybody. Dave Owens, today joined by my man Joey Kamide, Nova Baseball Magazine. Catch him, NovaBaseballMagazine.com. Joey, this is your time of year, man. The school is almost out. Yep. Spring sports are over. That means baseball is coming down the stretch. We got a great show for them this year, and I know you're excited.
Absolutely, Dave. And this is the big week. This is state tournaments. Locally, we've got teams in the 4A, we've got teams in 5A, and teams in 6A. 6 total teams from our coverage area here in Northern Virginia that'll be playing in the state tournament.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a great conversation with you today. So let's set the stage for what people are going to see on today's show. We're talking about the Virginia High School State Baseball Tournament. You just heard Joey say it. We're going to break it down from A to Z, 4A, 5A, and 6A. Can't wait for that. Of course, this is a lacrosse area too, a lacrosse hotbed. So we're going to put a bow on the season with a discussion with one of the better teams, I feel, in this area, in the DMV. The Bullis Bulldogs paying us a visit here today. And of course, our Rebel Run team, they're going to sit down with a Stonewall Jackson family. It's basketball, but it's a family affair out there in Prince William County. So that's all coming up on today's show. Where can you watch it? You got a lot of options. Check out the screen right there, DMVSTREAM.com. You can always check it on demand. Channel 10, Thursday at 10 o'clock, of course, and you can also get those other areas as well here in Fairfax. So it's going to be a great show. Myself and Joey are in the house. We'll get to that in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at one of our great partnerships that we have here at DMVSTREAM.com. It's with Lacrosse Sports Network, 24/7 lacrosse for you. Lacrosse Sports Network and DMVSTREAM.com. It's a perfect partnership.
What's up, lacrosse fans? I'm excited to announce our new partnership with LacSportsNetwork.com, a 24-hour digital media network dedicated to covering the game of lacrosse, delivering thousands of hours of original programming, including live professional, collegiate, and amateur games. Now, those of you that already know about Synthesis Multimedia Productions and our platform at DMVStream.com, you know that our group has become the Mid-Atlantic's dominant force in providing live streaming of pro, college, and local high school sports. Now, in this new partnership with LacSportsNetwork.com, we'll be bringing you, the viewers, unprecedented live coverage of the Mid-Atlantic's most notable high school lacrosse programs, with matchups that include teams like Gonzaga, Georgetown Prep, Landon, Loyola Blakefield, McDonough, Boys Latin, Hill Academy, St. Paul School, Culver, New Canaan, St. Stephen's St. Agnes, Collegiate School, and the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference Championship live from the University of Maryland. Now, in this series of 10 games, starting in early March, you can watch the best matchups live in HD with the state-of-the-art broadcast technology you've come to expect from us at Synthesis Multimedia Productions and DMVStream.com. Broadcasts will include a minimum of 5 HD camera angles, graphics, instant replay, live clock, live scoring, up-to-the-minute stats, and a 15-person crew, including directors, producers, camera operators, play-by-play color, and sideline reporters, all dedicated to creating a television-style broadcast experience that you can watch live right in the palm of your hand. To find out more about this project, go to LacSportsNetwork.com and start watching lacrosse right now.
All right, that is good stuff. Can't get enough of lacrosse, but let's talk a little baseball here. Dave Owens along with Joey Kamide, Nova High School Baseball, NovaHighSchoolBaseball.com. Check them out. These guys do great work here. So, Joey, let's get right into it because I know we've got 3 sections to cover. This 4A semifinal, I'm really liking what it looks like. Kind of take us through that and break it down a little bit.
Yeah, so we've got locally Kettle Run's having a fantastic season.
Okay.
They're right out there in Fauquier County. They're on a 17-game winning streak. That was snapped last night in the 4A West Region Championship game. They lost to Liberty Christian Academy. That's an interesting story. Liberty Christian Academy is the 2-time defending private school Division I state champion.
And they kind of hopped over there, right?
And they did. They did. That's an interesting situation. They were able to get into the VHSL, and now they're trying their hand as a public school. So I think there's a lot of folks hoping that we'll see those two teams again, maybe in the state championship game. But Jamestown's in there, and Hanover, two very good teams as well. At this time of the year, even at 4A, which is quote unquote smaller school, everybody's got a D1 arm that they're throwing out there. So it's going to be interesting. And then the best of the lot is at Liberty Christian with the kid Adam Hess, who's going down to LSU and is potentially going to be drafted pretty high.
You see these teams a lot. You know these teams as well as anybody. Is there maybe one that might be the favorite going in? I know it's always difficult to tell, but if you had to sort of forecast it, what would you say?
I tell you, all four of those teams are tough. There's a lot of people saying the 4A level, this is about as good as it's been in recent years. And I think Liberty Christian now being a part of that has something to do with that. But I would say they're probably the top team going in. Jamestown, Hanover, very good programs, and Kettle Run, they're 20-2 this season, and they had that 17-game winning streak. The coach Ty Thorpe does an outstanding job. Brenton Doyle, you see up there on the graphic, he's going down to Virginia Military Institute. He's coming in the state tournament. He's hitting 525, and his coach sent me his stats earlier this week, and I had to write back to him. I said, Coach, just got to do a check on one thing, because 12 doubles. Okay, we get that. Hitting 525, that's great. 12 triples his kid has.
Wow.
And they play in a big park. Still, you're playing a 20-game regular season schedule. He's already at 12 triple. That's amazing.
Boy, you got 12 three-baggers. You got to have power and speed.
Absolutely.
I got to believe he's one of the players to watch in that 4A. You mentioned some of them already, but sort of, again, run those things down for us. Who are some of the players we better be watching this weekend?
Well, certainly Hess is a big-time player, and then Brenton Doyle. Those are the two kids that you definitely want to keep an eye on. Doyle, again, he was the Conference 2022 Player of the Year. And if you talk to their coach, Ty Thorpe down there, just raves about the kid. He's, he's just done everything right, and he doesn't quite understand it, and hopefully those other teams aren't watching this this broadcast, because he says, I can't believe they're still pitching to him. And I have to kind of agree with that.
Yeah, they got to give him the Bryce Harper treatment. Stop pitching to the guy. Let's step it up to the 5A semis. That's going to be at Lake Braddock, correct?
Yep. 5A
Talk to me about that.
Semifinals are going to be on Friday over at Lake Braddock. Interesting format they're doing. It's a jamboree. So you have lacrosse, soccer, track,
all kinds of stuff going on.
All the state events going on over there between Lake Braddock and Robinson. So 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock are the game times on a Friday, which is interesting. But regardless, I'm sure they're going to generate a big crowd for those games. You see there on the graphic, Nansemond River and Mountain View. Those are two very good teams. Potomac and Mills Godwin. Potomac and Mountain View are in our coverage area. Mountain View down there in Stafford County. Potomac right down the street here in Woodbridge, in Dumfries. Potomac's head coach, Mike Covington, he's an old graybeard. He's been around a long time. And Cov, everyone loves Cov. He's got his 400th win in the first round of region tournament.
Awesome.
Which is impressive. In high school baseball, you're playing a 20-game regular season. If you get to 400 wins, that means you've been around a while, but you're doing something right.
You know what you're doing.
Yep. And you saw there on the graphic, Alex Smith from Mountain View. He's going to the Naval Academy. He was the the 5A North Region Player of the Year. He's definitely a player you want to keep an eye on. And
I went to the Naval Academy, so I'm voting for that team.
There you go. And he's a stud of a kid.
He's one of the great players to watch. Who are some of the other players to watch? We got to keep our eye on this weekend for 5A.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, locally, certainly at Potomac, they've got some really good, nice, talented players. Alex Burke is a guy that you want to keep your eyes on. Evan Antonellis he was the Conference Player of the Year. He's in the mix for our Nova 9 team. He's going to be back next year, actually. So certainly a kid you want to keep an eye on. And then you see there on the graphic, Alex Smith's the top player down there at Mountain View.
All right, so that's 4A and 5A. 2 down, 1 to go. Cool your heels there a little bit. Take a drink of water, a swig of water. We'll get right back to you with the 6A. But before we get to that, of course, we always talk lacrosse here. This is a hotbed of lacrosse in this region. And again, we've got a great relationship. We talked about the Lacrosse Sports Network a minute ago. We also have a great relationship with U.S. Lacrosse. Let's take a look at that.
So that's player to watch number 1. We need number 3 blue with some Kelsey for another 20 or so. Ready? Roll it. Ready? Come back out to 2. Eating things. Third player to watch for the blue team today. It's number 5.
All right, back here in studio with Joey Kamide of Nova High School Baseball, doing a great job breaking things down. We've talked 4A, 5A. Let's get to 6A.
6A's big-time local matchups this week. They're over at Robinson High School.
Okay.
11 o'clock and 4 o'clock are the semifinals on Friday. Chantilly is going to play Cosby in one of them. Now Chantilly, Kevin Ford, their coach, has done an outstanding job. A lot of people think this might be the best team he's had over there. This is the
That's
third,
saying something.
and especially considering this is the third year in a row they've been in the state tournament.
Right.
They've had this nucleus of seniors that have been together for that 3-year run, and this is probably as good as it gets. You see Brett Norwood there, their shortstop. He's going to go down and play at South Florida State Junior College.
Nice.
Jared DeCesare, their top pitcher's 10-0. He's going to George Mason. They've got a lefty, Forrest Wagner's going down to Roanoke. Jared Enders, their outfielder's going up to Holy Cross.
Okay.
And Matt Padway, he's going to a Division III school. He's their catcher. Just a loaded Chantilly team. In the other matchup, we've got Battlefield and Hilton, and this is a rematch from the first game of the season for both these teams. Now, Jake Agnos, we're going to talk a little bit more about him, the big lefty. He's got, I believe it's 253 strikeouts over the past 2 years that Jake has, and he threw a no-hitter against Hilton in the season opener for both teams. So the Bulldogs have been chomping at the bit to get another crack at him, and now they get it.
This is the Battle of Prince William County, right? I mean, this is a battle royale down there.
Absolutely.
So we saw the graphic there. Any other players to watch there? You sort of named them off there. Anybody else?
Well, Hilton's got the kind of a 3-headed monster on the mound. Fox Simone's, Trey Shepard, our 2 guys, Ryan and Billy, is the other guy. Those 3 guys have all done an outstanding job. Their run through the region tournament to win that region down the 6A South, they had to go on the road and win all 3 games. They gave up 3 runs total, and only one of those was earned between the 3 pitchers. All 3 of them went out through complete games, so you have to keep an eye on those guys. Not sure who they're going to throw in that game, but whoever it is going to be very good.
So certainly those teams peaking at just the right time. Now, before we get you out of here, Joey, doing a great job here. Your organization, Nova High School Baseball, you got a lot of great things going on. Tell us a little bit about that before we get you out of here. You got a Major League Baseball draft deal coming up, right?
It's actually Nova Baseball Magazine, and we're going to have our MLB draft special right here in Fairfax at the Old Shabine, right down the street from George Mason University. And basically what we're doing is we got 10 guys locally that are coming out. 2 of those guys, Khalil Lee from Flint Hill and Joe Rizzo from Oakton. Baseball fans in the area very familiar with those names.
Oh, yeah.
Both those guys probably going to be picked in the top 3 or 4 rounds, even as high as maybe early in the second round for both of those kids. Then we've also got Agnos, the lefty from Battlefield, and we got 7 guys that grew up and played high school ball locally that went off to college that are going to be there, and good chance those guys are going to get picked as well. A lot of good baseball in this area right now.
It really is. It really is. Nova Baseball Magazine, NovaBaseballMagazine.com. Check him out. He does a great job. Joey Kamai, great job today. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, let's transition now. We've talked a little lacrosse. We've talked a little baseball. Let's talk some basketball now. And that cues up for our Rebel Run crew. John Moore catching up with a family affair in Prince William County. Take it away, John.
Welcome to a very special edition of the Prep Zone on DMV Stream. I'm John Moore from Rebel Run Sports, joined this week by Stonewall Jackson High School legends Reggie and Nicole Floyd. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Nicole, we're going to start with you. Big sis, Take me through your high school journey at Stonewall up until where you are right now.
High school, I actually started playing with the high school kids, I think 7th grade. I think I stopped playing middle school basketball, and the coach that was there, Coach White, he was like, yeah, you're going to be really good. Started training with him, and it was a big thing. I ended up tearing my ACL going into my freshman year, so I didn't play. I think I played the very last game we made to states. I think I played maybe like 4 minutes, and that was it. Didn't play. Sophomore year, we didn't make it to states. We made it to regionals and got knocked out by Potomac. And then the next 2 years we made to states. But junior year, there was a lot more pressure on me because we were coming back. We had a new coach, first of all, and then we were coming back off of a losing season. And then there was just a lot expected from me. I was only big on the team, so it was just crazy. My dad was expecting a lot of me. This one here was, and the team also. I think junior year was probably my breakout year as far as my stats and my ability and me being more versatile and things like that. Senior year, I was comfortable with myself, with my game, and I was just doing everything. Everyone hated me. Basically, everyone hated me. No one liked playing me. The game I remember my senior year was the Battlefield game where we were down the whole game. I was having a terrible first half, and they thought they were going to win it. Mind you, Battlefield hadn't beat us in like 13 years. So they were like, we're going to win it. Right. It was a bad game. I think fourth quarter. Yes, fourth quarter came out and just went all out. I ended up getting fouled. We were down 2. I ended up getting fouled, made 2 free throws. And so it was a tie game. And then they had a turnover. So we ended up winning by 2. And so they were like, yo, we only wanted to beat them. If Nicole was there, it was her last year. So like, it's over. But high school was fun. I will say it did get me prepared for college. College was tough, and I think it was tough more so mentally than it was physically because I think my dad prepared me for that aspect of the game. And
right, now you got recruited to Wake Forest initially, correct?
Yeah, I committed early. I think I verbally committed my junior year going into the season, so it wasn't even, our season hadn't even started our junior year yet before I committed, but I was like, I want to go there. I only went on a visit once, and I was like, I love it. And that was it. So I was just waiting that whole junior year, then senior year before signing day. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready to go, especially after the season was over. So
right.
But it didn't turn out for the. But I won't say it was a bad idea or a bad decision. I will say I learned a lot. Sure. I did get my feet wet as far as learning what to do in college, how to be on my own, and things like that. But it was a stepping stone to where I am now.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you've transferred to
Fordham.
So you had to sit out a year.
Yes, I did have to sit out a year. It went by really fast, but it was tough. I remember I called him a lot, like, yo, a whole year out. I was crying. I did cry a lot because the last time I sat out was when I had surgery, and I just hated it. So, but I'm ready. So I'm excited. Got a lot to look forward to. So.
Very cool. Now, Reggie, I'm looking at your statistics down here, and I'm like, what video game were you playing? Take me through high school for you.
8th grade year, I went to Stonewall Middle, and my brother was in high school. He played receiver for one of the coaches, Coach Doc. He's at WT Woodson.
Okay.
And everybody knew him. He was really good. He did track, football, was very popular. So a lot of people knew about me coming in. Freshman year, I came in for 2 days, and the DB coach, Coach Sarge, saw me running around, like catching balls and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, yo, he has the potential to start as a true freshman in high school. So talking to my parents about it, and my mom was a little shaky because she was scared playing against 18 years old. I'm 14, 15. So I actually started my freshman year, the only freshman in the county to start at free safety, got my feet wet. And then I want to say sophomore year, I came in and played free safety, but running back also, but I was second string. So I felt the guy that was in front of me, he was a senior, so he wasn't better than me, but he was a senior, so they started him ahead of me. He went down. I stepped up, did my thing, had my breakout season, and then that's when I had all the schools coming out at me, and Tech was the first camp I went to. So when I went there, I got offered on site, and I became a Hokie.
So I'm looking at this: 586 rushes, 3,508 yards, 32 touchdowns, 57 catches, 752 yards, 5 touchdowns, 166 tackles. What position are you playing at Tech?
I played Little League. I came up playing linebacker and running back. So running back was really my main thing I wanted to go to college for. And then that's when I actually sat down and talked to my dad about how long I would last in the league and who the rounds in the draft, because that's where I want to go is the NFL. So who gets picked ahead of time in the first round, second round, stuff like that. So when we talked about that, that's when I came to realize that safety would be a better pick for me.
Okay.
Now, thanks, John. That was a lot of fun. Now, if you want to see the entirety of that interview, just go to DMVSTREAM.com. Again, that was a lot of fun. All right, let's shift gears to lacrosse. They've been one of the more dominant programs in the DMV. Of course, we're talking about the Bullis Bulldogs. They won a championship. It was a season like none other. Earlier today, I sat down with head coach Jeff Bellestri and his great attack man, senior Steve Schoenberger. Take a look. And welcome back, everybody. We're talking to Bullis head coach Jeff Bellestri and Super Steve Schoenberger. How's it going, guys? Appreciate you being in studio with us today.
Hey, thanks for having us.
It's a beautiful day outside. It was a beautiful season for you guys, and we'll have all those numbers and statistics coming up in just a second. But you talk about really one of the dominant programs in the DMV, the Bulldogs of Bullis. They did it every day, every week. All of the opponents that came and went, certainly they were able to take care of them. Let's get into this and let's talk about what a special season it was. Coach, I want to talk to you first. Just globally, every coach wants to go out and win a championship. That's always the goal at the beginning of the season, and yet you guys were able to say that, and you did that. Talk about how special a campaign this really was.
I mean, it was special from the start. We were able to put games together, one after one, and be able to come out victoriously. We started a little slow in the season, but as you'll see, after the first 4 games, we're 2-2, and then we won 19 in a row, and it was truly special to put it together week in and week out.
You had a lot of special players, and obviously we're taking a look at some of that right now. This young man sitting right next to you, Steve Schoenberger, and Steve, we're going to call you Super Steve throughout the rest of this interview. I know this group has been close over the last couple of years, and I'm curious what it felt like to get there and finally get it done, get over the top this year.
Yeah, it's huge. We've all been great friends. We've been waiting for it for 4 years now. And honestly, in the beginning, I really didn't have as high hopes for the season.
Really?
Because, Paul Steele tore his ACL like a couple months before, and I really didn't think he was going to make it back. But, I mean, he's like Superman, so he got back. I was pretty sick for a while, so I didn't know how well I was going to be doing, and so we had some complications, but after those 4 first games, we went 2-2, and then we kind of took off, and that's when I knew we were going to keep going.
Coach, you talk about starting off at 2-2. Something had to click. I mean, after those first couple of contests, what was it? What clicked after you guys started out 2-2?
Well, we made a few adjustments. We moved some people around. Some defensemen that were playing close, we moved to pole, and the long stick midi, we moved to close, and we moved an offensive midi to defensive midi, and we kind of just limited the lineup a little bit. We just made little tweaks, and when we did that, the team came together and really gelled at the end of March, beginning of April.
21-2 is the record, and that's what people are going to see. I'm impressed with the way in which you guys did it. I mean, in this area, when you go 21-2, that says something because you play the likes of Gonzaga. You have to play Boys Latin. You have to play McDonough. Taking into account just this murderer's row of opponents, how difficult was it for your young men to really get up and play at such a high level every week?
You know, every week they wanted to play the best competition. They didn't want to play teams that were a little bit not at the same level as us. They only wanted to play those games. And they'd get up for them, and they got up for every game, which was impressive. It didn't matter who we were playing. We really didn't worry about our opponent. We were more concerned with ourselves because we took care of our own teammates and our own game plan, we'd be just fine.
Steve, take me through the season a little bit. I mean, there's always, again, you guys played 23 games culminating with the school's first championship, and we're going to talk about that championship game here in just a second. But I know as a senior, there's always that moment that you come to in a season when something special happens. Was there one game, one moment, one time that you'll look back on at reunions 5-10 years from now and say, man, that was a special time of that season, that senior year?
Yeah, like I said, McDonough was a huge win, but it'll have to be the IC championship since that's been our goal for 4 years straight. And the first 3 years we came up short, losing to Landon 3 times in the semifinals. So I mean, finally coming through and getting the big win, especially with them winning 9-5.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll look back on that every single year.
Paint the picture for us. I mean, it was raining that day, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it was a deluge. The weather couldn't have been worse. As we're taking a look at some of your stats as well. 54 goals, 24 assists. You had a fantastic season. But I just want your memories of the championship day. I mean, that had to be something where you looked up and said, man, this is a surreal moment, right?
None of us slept for the past 2 nights. We were too excited, but we got hyped up in the locker room, and as soon as we came out, it was raining. There weren't a lot of people there, but we honestly didn't care. We wanted it to rain even harder because that's where we get our energy a lot of the time. That bad weather.
Job well done, guys. Job well done. Now, if you want to see the entirety of that interview, just go to DMVSTREAM.com as well. That's going to do it for this week on the Prep Zone. Don't forget to join us next week. We'll see you then. Hey, everybody. Dave Owens here with our DMV. Hey everybody, Dave Owens here with our DMVSTREAM.com Athlete of the Week, and it is a good one. It goes to Michael Nunez of Washington and Lee Soccer. The Generals were crowned 6A North Region champions, thanks in no small part to the efforts of Nunez, who netted 2 goals in his team's 3-0 win over Yorktown on Monday night. Now, if you'd like to be the DMVSTREAM.com's Athlete of the Week, make sure you tweet us at DMVSTREAM.